Welcome back, Fun Fam, and if you're brand new to the channel, welcome in to Follow the Bradleys Fun. This is Let's Dish, or The Dish, or The Evening Dish. I don't know. I'm playing with the name right now because it used to be The Daily Dish, and I don't know if it's going to be daily anymore, but it might be daily. I don't know. Yeah, we're still working on it. My beautiful wife is in the house. Hello, Virginia Bradley Adventures. I see you there. And we have so many guests that are about to be coming in. And Dan's Life of the Kingdom reporting all the way from Disneyland, where he gets to see Walt apparently live, sort of in a creepy way from what I've seen so far. I don't know if I'll get that one. I may have to show that later. But I want to say hi to everybody that is here because I want to thank you all for being here, because as you know, you guys are the energon that makes this guy transform and roll out to be here with you.
A toast, Autobots. Boy, these are good. I needed to refuel. Energy! This stuff's the greatest!
Oh my goodness gracious me. It's funny because I had no idea that Drunk 3POJ was such a huge Transformers fan, and now he's got all these good Drunk 3PO. If you follow him, you should Park Hoppin' and also Drunk 3PO channels on the Geeks and Gamers streams. But he's doing this Transformers thing now, and I'm loving all the content that's coming out there. He's reading old Transformers comics and everything. It's very, very cool. So big shout out to Drunk 3PO. Let's say hi to everybody that's coming in tonight. Tom F. See you in the chat, and he might be holding on backstage too. So we got Tom F back here, and he is wrenching away. Thank you so much for that. Hey, all hit the like on the way in. Yes, please do. Appreciate that. We've got Don Francisco VCR. Thank you for being here tonight, Don Francisco. Don Francisco, thank you for the likes. Also, a good friend of the channel, DL Fendel, is out there. Yes, senor. Want to see a free show? Smile. Yes. And saying hi to each other. We've got just Nita. Hello, Nita. I haven't seen you in the chat in a while, so it's good to see you back. Always, I love seeing Nita in the chat. Of course, obviously, we have a good friendship offline, and that's what it's all about, is friendship and love and brotherhood and sisterhood, ladies and gentlemen, moms and dads. Yes, we can say that on this channel here. And Tom says, hey, just need a hey. And apparently there's some bacon relationship going on with DL and Nita. And the ham. And bacon and ham. Oh, and their ham is divine too. Of course, all from pigs that eat acorns. I love those famous Spanish ones. Spanish pork. Kit Kat. Kit Kat says, hey, everyone. Hey, Kit Kat. Good to see you out there. Good to see you. Good to see you. Go and Shogi, another great wrench, is in the chat. My beautiful wife is also in the chat. And Dan's Life at the Kingdom. We got to say hi to Dan's Life at the Kingdom. I am skipping that one for now. I see it, and I will get back to it. Thank you, Go and Shogi. We will address that momentarily. But skipped ahead. Just finishing dinner. I bet it's arepas, todos días. And I'm seeing for anybody else. Don Francisco, gracias por estar acá. Muy bien, gracias for being here. Benton's Country Hams, yes. Dan, ¿cómo estás en Disneyland? Muy bien aquí. Yes, and Dan, get me all the footage you can of the creepy looking thing that they call Walt out there. Thank you guys so much. Just to let you know, for those who have maybe not been here before, we do have a spread shop, and I just want to show there's new merch that's going to be coming based on this show, because it was in my head today. I took a nap right before the show, and I dreamed up the new merch. Make Disney Walt again. All of this is available to buy on the spread shop. And you've got our Fedora Finds merch and our family avatar logo and all that stuff. And soon there's going to be a Dish related t-shirt. So that is on there. And thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing the link in the chat. And this is the point in the show where very quickly, before I bring on my panel, we talk about celebrations. I want to celebrate all of you out there. It happens when somebody drops memberships or becomes a member of the channel. If anybody has a membership milestone chat or has a super chat, super thanks, super sticker, PayPal, buy me coffee, any of the support from you guys to the show, I'm so grateful just that you're here, like, let alone actually financially support the show, which is awesome. Keeps the lights on. We appreciate it so much. You don't have to do it. And certainly, please do not donate anything if you can't afford to. But if you can, that is great. We will highlight it. We will put it on the screen like we'll do with this one right now, just to show you. And we like to celebrate that, but we want you to celebrate with us in the chat below or to the side. I don't know where it is, wherever you're watching. But in the chat, celebrate with us. When we celebrate, throw down some emojis. If you're a member of the channel, we have custom emojis you can throw down. However, if you're not, you can throw down dance emojis, fireworks emojis, anything that gets us going and gets us celebrating and gets us having fun, because this show is fun. It's a party. It's about all the news that should be fun. And a celebration, get your emojis ready, goes like this. All right, let's celebrate. And we have to celebrate lots and lots of guests coming onto the show. First and foremost, you like him, you love him, you can't get enough of him. You've seen him everywhere because he wrenches across the board. It's our fan favorite here, Mr. Tom F. coming to the stage.
Hey, Ron.
Hello, Tom. How are you tonight, sir?
I can't complain.
I see the guitars. I want to play.
That's a banjo, Ron.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. Dueling banjos. Do they do dueling banjos on electric guitar? I don't think I've
You can do dueling guitars on electric guitar.
That would be very, very cool. And next up,
you could pick a V.
I can pick a V. Well, we could do that. I just haven't played guitar in a while. I got to pick it back up. I need to come over and just hang with you for like a day and then play with all your stuff.
You could touch two.
Okay, I can touch two. Speaking of two, we got a man whose name that rhymes with two. He is the ghost of Lou Yes, all the way from Hollywood's great past, L.W. Ghost.
I've got a mandolin. Does that count?
A mandolin.
Yeah.
Bring it on over, Lou, and let's plug it into the amp.
No. This is one my grandmother brought over from Poland in 1921. No amps required. Just the big belly, old-fashioned, mother of pearl faced, gorgeous thing. And it makes
I know, but
music
everything
too.
sounds better louder.
I suppose. Except maybe a certain guy named Bob. We all know.
Oh God.
Louder doesn't make him any better. So
we don't want to talk about Bob right now. But you know who I do want to talk about? I want to talk about getting two for the price of one, because it's not just one guest, it's two guests for the price of one, and they are fantastic. I was watching their show earlier. Love these guys. They are amazing, and they're not unlike my wife and myself. I'm gringo, she's Hispanic, and so are they. They are Nat and the guy.
Hello.
Good.
Welcome to the show, both of you. It's so exciting to have both of you. How do you do the split screen? How do you even do that?
Some switcher we have, it lets us do split screen.
Movie magic.
Yeah.
You fancy.
Oh, I feel bad.
I tell you, they got to charge.
I feel bad. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I feel bad for you watching my morning show this morning. There was a lot of technical issues with that thing.
Oh, well, hey, it happens. It's with StreamYard and with the internet, and plus, I was learning earlier today on a video that AI is already trying to take over. So we probably only have 5 years left of humanity.
Yeah, but it's so stupid. I told you, a pro did a thing where he talked about not being, what was it, a moral prude, talking about all the swearing in the Superman movie. And the subtitles, the AI subtitles, said he was a moral prune. And as long as it makes mistakes like that, I'm happy to know that humanity is needed, So
yeah, I would think so. It's funny because I was watching Superman, and the first swear word is not in English; it's actually in Spanish.
Ooh.
And it is uttered by the character, the engineer. Lou, have you seen the new Superman yet?
No, I have not.
So I'm the only one on the panel that's actually seen it. It's just I think the reason I don't like it is for the same reason that the people that do like it. It leans heavily into cartoon land. And I have an issue with certain types of movies where I just don't feel like everything from the comics translates to the cinema, right? It's just, and this is a huge spoiler alert, but it's out there and everybody kind of has heard about it. But when I first heard about it, I could not believe that it is true. And there is a scene where it shows that Lex Luthor is using slave monkeys in a pocket dimension, typing on computers and trolling social media against Superman. And I'm like, that went so far beyond my suspension of disbelief.
Oh, the old slave monkey plot line. I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Supposedly that was a meme that he was doing to get back at his old employer.
Which would be fine if he did it somewhere else.
Yeah.
But, and in the trailers, there's a kaiju. Everybody has seen this because it's been in the trailers for 6 months or more. And there's a kaiju scene. There's a kaiju is like a giant kind of creature that is
an off-brand Godzilla.
Right, an off-brand. Exactly. That's exactly what it is. Well, here's the problem with that. In the movie, in the middle of the night, two guys get out of a van and they have this thing in a cage, and the thing's about a foot tall, and they let it out. And they're like, and one guy's goes, well, it's not very big. And the other guy goes, it'll grow. And literally the next scene is it's 300 feet with no explanation. I'm like, first of all, I don't like kaijus, but second of all, there's no explanation for how this thing grows. That makes sense.
Why don't they, they have no sense of history. We on the genre guys recently did one of my favorite movies, which is called The Seven Faces of Dr. Lowe. And in it, the Loch Ness Monster starts off in a fishbowl and gets out and grows. but they explain it. So, George Powell knew more than Mr. Gunn. What can I say?
Oh, I can switch. No, I'm looking at this and going, hey, can I switch the screens over here? I'm like, oh, look at that. Look at that. I can play little.
Like you're dancing.
I love it. So, yeah. Anyhow. So the real question right now that we have, of course, about Superman is it making any money? I'm going to put this up here on the screen. Let me make sure I have the right tab. Okay, and this is out of the weekend box office. So, okay, let me put this up on the screen for everybody to see. This is the weekend box office numbers. Hopefully, everybody can see that. And Superman was the #1 movie at the box office with a final gross over the weekend domestically of $125 million. And I believe what people have been saying is that is more than Man of Steel grossed in its opening weekend, which technically is true. I don't remember exactly what the number was for 2012's Man of Steel opening weekend, but first of all, the opening weekend for Man of Steel did not have the extra Tuesday night previews, and that's going into this. And those Tuesday night tickets, I looked at them, the Amazon Prime tickets, it was $25 and up per person. That is not what I would normally spend on a movie. Normally, I spend $6 for my tickets where I go to the theater, unless I'm going to go to IMAX, and then it might be $25. But second of all, so you've got a longer run that's going into this number over here. And the second thing is they did not adjust for inflation. Adjusted for inflation, Man of Steel domestically made $163 million in today's dollars. So, yes.
And Man of Steel did not have as many large screen format theaters with the higher price because there weren't as many there.
Exactly. So the basic gist of that means that there weren't as many butts and seats. So it just, and look, it makes sense because a lot of people, no matter how good of a movie is, there is just a segment of the population that's not going to go to the theater anymore. I have a friend that's like, yeah, I don't want to go to the theater anymore. I don't need to. I wait until it comes out. I can screen it at home. The 85-inch plasma TVs or whatever they are, flat screen TVs are like $500 now. They're not even expensive anymore. I was over in Walmart the other day and they sell them there, and it's like I cannot believe how inexpensive they've gotten over the last few years. I wish that would happen to food, but it happens with technology. So
the popcorn costs the same. The bucket is more expensive.
Oh my gosh, the buckets.
But look at this story I just put over there on the side. If they had a lot of faith in this movie, would they have done this? They're already pre-selling the super duper home video version, and with a proviso that if you actually go watch the movie and you don't like it, you can get a refund. I mean, if that isn't covering your butt this early in the run, I don't know what is. It doesn't show a lot of faith in the movie.
Well, no, and I was also going to say Jurassic Park said they're going to be on streaming within 30 days, which is crazy. And if movies continue to do this, people would just wait for the streaming.
Exactly. You don't even have to have patience anymore. Like if they would announce ahead of time, hey, we're not even going to release a PVOD version of this for 6 months and just let people know that. No, and be patient if the companies had the patience to sit on it that long, regardless of how their movie did at the box office. I think it would help a lot as far as the box office is concerned. But I don't know. I don't have the insight to know whether or not, how much is made on the back end. LW, do you have any idea like how that works?
Specific numbers, no, but certainly there is money to be made there. The question becomes, there's a thing in advertising, very basic thing that predates all of the modern media called sense of urgency. You want to have people so excited when it comes out. even if they don't know anything about it, there's sort of a rumble. I went, as I've told before, to the opening day at Grauman's Chinese in Hollywood of the original Star Wars. Nobody knew what it was, but there was a word of mouth out there that said, this is something special, go see it. And people lined up all day long to see this relatively unknown, relatively low budget, by a relatively unknown filmmaker movie with no big stars in it. And it took off, of course. But if you don't have that sense of urgency, and if you say, hey, by the way, if you're not really hot to go run to the theater, you can buy this super duper version. And if you don't like it, you can get a refund. And golly, that smells desperate. And then the big numbers that I read about, it's not doing well overseas at all. It's really not doing well overseas. I mean, in 65 markets or something like that, it has not quite equaled what it did in the USA. So that's a problem.
Well, I was watching something earlier that it might be even doing worse internationally than we think, because not all the countries have actually reported yet. It's just a overall projection.
Right.
Right. So yeah, the overall projection from the numbers right there is 95 million overseas. And it's kind of curious. I find it curious because Superman is more of an internationally known superhero. So I'm wondering kind of what's going on with the international box office.
But if they were depending on international, it might explain why they took Truth, Justice, and the American Way out of it. Obviously, they felt there was a certain amount of resentment in some places, or at least indifference, and they wanted to make it more universal.
See, and I'll be honest with you. I actually think that keeping Truth, Justice, and the American Way in the movie would have actually helped on the international scene. Regardless of how you feel about a current political situation in this country, people around the world still know and love the United States of America. And
if they don't know where Kansas is, they know they'd rather live there than whatever S-hole they're living in now. Let's put it that way.
A lot of times that's true. Look, I talked to people. I talked to so many international guests when I worked at Walt Disney World, and I'm telling you, they love the United States. They love America. A lot of them, I'll be honest with you, even love Trump. And they may not talk about it out loud, but they, it's true. And I don't know if Hollywood lives in the bubble that we all think that they live in. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. I don't know.
They do,
but they do. Okay, well,
they do.
They do, absolutely. Okay, and so it makes me wonder. Like in their circles, do they not like hear things that go on outside of their sphere? Do they not listen?
But they discount it because they're the cool kids, not those other people.
Yeah,
that's and in fact, I read a very interesting theory about this movie. It's behind the paywall on Breitbart, so I wouldn't give you the link because I know we try and avoid that. But it's John Nolte, no less, talking about this movie and saying that he thinks this whole recent controversy that Gunn stirred up about whether or not it was woke was cover for the fact that the movie is actually anti-woke. That the whole thing about solving wars and all that is a very, very pro-Trump statement. And he was afraid his friends would get pissed off at him. And so he threw up all that smokescreen to try and hide it and keep his credentials in the cool kids club. Is that, I haven't seen the movie, but is that a likely possibility, do you think?
I think it's likely. The leader of the country that it shows in the movie, I think it's Moravia. They're all fictitious countries.
Yeah.
To me, there was nothing reflective of the actual countries that are in conflicts, right? That are real going on right now. It was
whatchamacallit, Stan and Hoosesburg. Right.
Basically,
okay.
They have two countries, which could happen anytime and anywhere in the world, and usually is somewhere. So that kind of thing makes sense to me. To me, I didn't see a difference in the populations of the peoples or whatever. One country, I guess, looked like they might be poorer than the other country, but they supposedly had, I guess, oil reserves. Lex Luthor wants to be the king of that country. That's, there were so many elements from past Superman movies in here. Lex Luthor wanting to be king, like he did when he wanted to be king of Australia. The way that Ultraman was created is a throwback to the quest for peace, and all kinds of other things. And they even had there is a scene in this movie that is so reminiscent of the collector scene in Guardians of the Galaxy that I'm like, oh my gosh. I mean, this is like literally a throw over from, the collector. It was bizarre. So
Well, I was kind of surprised it did so well domestically because they tried to contrive 3 different cancellations for this movie beforehand. They had one with the Snyderverse and online fans of that trying to cancel this movie. And then they had the mainstream media saying that this thing is filled with politics. And then they had the Truth, Justice, and American Way cancellation as well. So it actually did fairly well considering, at least domestically, I thought.
Yes, that is absolutely true. And, that's the real question that we're looking at here. So how well it did domestically. Is this, like the opening weekend, I think looks pretty good for this movie. There's a question of how it actually did internationally. Will it have legs, and will it make the amount of money that it needs to in order to, let's just say push James Gunn's DC universe forward. So we're going to hit this story out of that parkplace.com. Please do bookmark it if you have not bookmarked it yet. We're going to get this on the screen for you. Out of that parkplace.com. You know it, you love it for all the news that should be fun. The question is, how much does Superman have to make at the box office to be profitable? This is written by our good friend Marvin Montanaro. There is David Corenswet Superman flying through the apparently the Antarctic in his movie. With so much conflicting information out there, how much does Superman actually need to make at the box office to be profitable? The 2025 Superman film, directed by James Gunn and starring David Corenswet as the Man of Steel, represents a pivotal reboot for the DC Universe, the DCU, under Warner Brothers Discovery, WBD. Released on July 11th, 2025, the movie has already generated significant buzz, both positive and negative. As a matter of fact, reviews, generally speaking, are positive, but kind of all over the place. As of the 14th of July, just 3 days into its theatrical run, the film has grossed, it's now, we put the numbers up, 125 million domestically, 217 million worldwide. I think, what is that, 220 million worldwide, making it the 3rd biggest opening weekend of the year, just behind Jurassic World Rebirth and Lilo and Stitch. This debut has alleviated some concerns about the superhero genre's post-lockdown fatigue, but questions linger. What did it cost? How much did it cost to market? How much does Superman need to earn to be deemed a financial success? So this analysis draws on verified reports, tax filings, industry estimates, and statements from Gunn himself to provide a clear source breakdown of what Superman needs to be profitable. And this is where we break it down and we get to the real nitty gritty of, what's important. Look, lots of films have had lots of fans over the years and still not done well enough at the box office to continue on. As a matter of fact, one of my favorite television shows got canceled after a season. It always sucks when you're a fan, but it is what it is. So the production budget, rumors, and tax incentives. The production budget for Superman has been a flashpoint of debate since pre-production. Initial reports based on public tax credit applications filed with the Ohio Motion Picture Tax Credit Program listed a gross expenditure of $363.8 million.
Which I got to jump in here and say, when you hear these numbers, whether it's from Ohio or the UK, it's not all the money they spent. It's the money they spent on local stuff. It doesn't include the star salaries. It doesn't include the director. It doesn't include all the office and staff and people. The whole purpose of these subsidies is to generate local employment. So they only count the money spent on local people, local craft service, local equipment rental, whatever it happens to be, which is maybe a half or 2/3 of the total. But by the time you add in the advertising, it isn't that. It's probably double that.
That right there that's a lot. $364 million is a ton. That was reported by the Hollywood Reporter. It says Superman can rank among the most expensive films ever. That's huge. That's there it is. Lex Luthor. That's Lex Luthor type money right there. However, WBD and DC Studios consistently countered that this gross figure does not reflect the net cost after tax breaks from multiple filming locations. Official statements peg the net production budget at $225 million, a figure corroborated by sources like Wall Street Journal, IMDb, Box Office Mojo. This adjustment aligns with common industry practices where tax incentives can reduce costs by 10 to 30% or more. And then if you got, let's go to the marketing campaign. Gunn says that he clarified the budget was not over $364 million, and he goes, "How in the world could they think they know what our budget is?" But there's the marketing campaign, a high flying push. This is where I think they spent a lot because I've seen a ton of. As a matter of fact, my Roku television literally switched automatically to a Superman theme to market this thing. I'm not even kidding. Marketing for Superman was aggressive, widespread, featuring Roku. There it is, home screen ads, Times Square takeovers, global trailers, partnerships with brands like Samsung, Amazon, Progressive. And so industry trades initially estimated the campaign at $200 million, exceeding the typical $150 million for summer tent poles. And this figure reflects WBD's bet on reigniting interest in the DC brand amid competition from Marvel. So yeah, I wanted to get this on the screen and then just really dive into a discussion on what this would mean as far as how does this make money over time. I know,
but if the point was to make money with this movie, pure and simple, that's one argument. If the point was to reignite the DC universe and therefore have this movie influence all those movies yet to come in a positive way, it's kind of like what I said about Jurassic, where I said it's not just promoting this one movie, it's promoting all the rides and attractions at the theme parks. So
it's certainly promoting toys. I've seen a huge toy push for this. What do you see there in Mexico, Nat and the guy?
I haven't really seen that much promotion. There are some posters and stuff, but I also haven't heard too much excitement from people here, at least for that one. For example, for the Minecraft movie, there was this huge marketing push, also for Snow White. But with Superman, it's kind of flown under the radar, at least from what I've been seeing out in the world. And for Jurassic World Rebirth, that one is getting a lot more attention, I would say, than Superman.
Yeah, what I would say too, you mentioned the toys, and that's huge. And I think that's a big problem for these studios because here in Mexico, there is a lot of toys for Jurassic Park and Superman. I mean, they're all over. I've lived in Canada and the United States, and the push in the toy and stuffed animal market here is huge. And I think that's a problem because, like we were talking earlier, Jurassic Park, only within 30 days, it's going to be on streaming. And I think they're shortening that distance between theater and streaming because they really want to try to push out these toys, because if they don't sell after the theater run, it's going to be really hard to sell those toys unless they go to streaming really quick.
Yeah, well, because streaming, I would imagine, can also sell toys at Christmas, which is going to be where the big push is. The biggest one that I've seen, and it's all over my Facebook, is this crypto that's like a drone. Like there's the crypto dog, and he's got the cape, and then he's got like a propeller underneath, and then you can fly him like a little drone. And certainly there's going to be crypto plushes, and I mean that the dog is a major selling point for toys in the movie, and it's fairly obvious. Does it add to the story? Does it take away from the story? That's up to the people watching it. I didn't love the idea of the dog. Some people absolutely have loved crypto, and obviously there is that point of contention where crypto is kidnapped. You see it in the trailers, and Superman's "What did you do with my dog?" Obviously, that's
little John Wick action going.
That's on. What I mean. That's like everybody's like has to immediately go to that, right? You got to think John Wick. As a matter of fact, there is a. Do you know the channel? I call them Hishy, but it's how it should have ended. They do these little cartoon shorts on plays on things that they've seen in the movies, and the channel has been around for a long time, like 15 years or something. Anyway, the YouTube channel, and they did a short on the Superman trailer. and they have that in there, and then John Wick shows up, and Lex Luthor is far more scared of John Wick than he is of Superman. But they've got Superman and John Wick and Batman, and it's pretty funny. I'd love to see these crossover things. How do you think it'll leg out over time? I mean, we've got 3 panels. I'm the only one that have seen it, and then I've got people in the chat that have seen it. My question is, how does it leg out, and what does it mean for Gunn and the DCU?
Well, how much time has it got to leg out? What's coming next, and what's going to take away all those big format screens?
Fantastic Four.
Right. And, which we're already holding our breath in anticipation of, and you can read that however you like. But that's the problem, is these things, the timing of the releases of these things, we've talked about that before, they bump into each other. And when they do that, there's only so many screens. There's only so many, especially the large format screens. So, they keep talking about giving the theaters a 45-day window. It is yet to happen. And then meanwhile, the theaters are saying, well, then we're going to add another 20 minutes of commercials. So 20 minutes of commercials for each showing for a movie that runs a couple hours is 1 less screening per day when it adds up at the whole end of the day. And that's an issue too.
Yeah, it's these 3 major tentpole movies are coming out this month. You got Jurassic, followed by Superman, and then Fantastic Four. Although Superman has the longest window of 2 weeks, but if it falls, I saw so much enthusiasm for the people that did love this movie that I have seen people already say they've been to see this 3 times this weekend. Like, if you've seen it 3 times in this opening weekend and you're not going to go back after this, or maybe you go back one more time, a lot of these tentpole movies depend on people actually going back to repeat screenings. And, I'm sure for the Marvel movies like Endgame and stuff like that back in 2019, people did go back. I don't think people
if you go back 2 more times after the 3, you're matching Bob Iger's viewing of every movie, according to him, right? So, you too can be the CEO of a major entertainment company.
Yeah, exactly.
It's getting major mixed press as well, because before the movie came out, the mainstream media was raving about it. Once the movie did come out, the mainstream media somewhat turned on it. Before the movie came out, the independent media had already turned on it. And then when the movie came out, the independent media kind of changed its mind on it. So you're having this weird narrative shift between mainstream media, independent media as well. So
I have it's been one of the weirdest things I've ever seen surrounding a movie, of the up and down. It's good, it's bad, it's good, it's bad, it's good, it's bad. It's like even people I know who have seen it twice have shifted their own opinion on whether they liked it one time or a different time or whatever. Putting this back on the screen. So you've got the Superman break-even point beyond the headlines. Box office break-even calculations account for theater revenue shares. Studios retain 50 to 55% of domestic grosses and 40 to 45% internationally, meaning a film needs to gross roughly 2 to 2.5 times this total to recoup expenses before they start to profit. So let's look at Superman.
And wait. With all due respect to the wonderful folks at that Park Place, that number is no longer valid.
Okay.
And the reason it's no longer valid is the way the split works is that the studio gets the lion's share of the first few weeks, and then it shifts to give the theater more and more and more. Well, if the first few weeks are all there is, you see what I mean?
Right.
So you run into a problem there. So that may be the overall for a typical traditional movie that runs for 6, 8, 10, 12 weeks, but it ain't necessarily so if it's gone in 60 seconds.
Yeah. So they may be getting more from these first 2-3 weeks, and then if the drop off is so significant, I think it's Lilo and Stitch still hasn't quite crossed the billion line. I'll have to check on that. For Superman, this is what they're saying on that Park Place. This is the general what learned in the past numbers. Superman using the 425 million total, 2 times is 850 million worldwide needed, and 2.5 conservative, factoring in the higher international cuts, 1.6 billion. I don't know if that's the real threshold or not. Hollywood trades have floated lower thresholds like 500 million. Others cited, and I think that goes into what you said, Lou. Like if they're front loaded, that they get this money, they may not need so much.
But this movie has a double burden to pull.
Yes.
It has to do well on its own right, but it has to rekindle the entire DC universe. And if it doesn't do that, all the money for this one movie in the world ain't going to change anything. It's still a failure in its real mission, which is to reignite our interest in Batman and Flash and Wonder Woman and everybody else that we've been taught to be disinterested in by recent failure movies.
Yeah, and go ahead.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh, also the way they're manipulating the theater box office totals lately, they're pushing these movies for like 6-day releases for the opening weekend and counting it. Most people are actually watching it in that first week. That's why these movies are seeing larger and larger percentage of drop-offs on the second week.
Because they haven't got enough days, even if they were the same popularity. You're absolutely right.
It's I don't know. I think it's going to be interesting to see, especially, and this is the biggest factor for me. The DCEU ended recently, and we're having potential carryovers from the DCEU, which makes it very confusing for an audience to watch this. Because, so for example, you have Peacemaker, which is one of James Gunn's characters from Suicide Squad. Suicide Squad that was in the DCEU apparently is going to be the same, or at least Peacemaker is the same actor, character, whatever, from that. That's a holdover. Blue Beetle, I've heard, may also be a holdover and go into this universe. I don't know how that's going to work out, and I don't know how the audience reception is going to be to it. My biggest wish is that this Superman movie that obviously was to jumpstart a DC universe would have just been a Superman movie. I felt like when I was watching it, Superman was a guest in his own movie. It felt like a Justice Gang movie, and Superman was a part of that story.
And that's the inherent problem in having Gunn as both the director of this one movie and the overall boss of the DCU. In other words, if there was somebody outside of the director of this movie piloting the entire DC ship, to whom the director of this movie would have to refer and say, well, does this fit your plans? And can I do this? And there would be some sort of creative, positive conflict there. But when you're both the boss and the boss, who's going to tell you no?
Also, I'm a bit burned out, and I think a lot of people are on superhero movies. My favorite superhero movies aren't necessarily the ones that are using the same equation. Like when Batman reset to a darker Batman with Christopher Nolan, it was something different. When the Joker came out and it was a redo of Taxi Driver, a more low budget, it was something different than your typical superhero equation. Deadpool and Wolverine was a lot like Tango and Cash, a buddy comedy action movie.
Yeah. Go
I also
ahead.
think, and I keep always saying it, and I'll continue to say it about both Marvel, DC, Star Wars, people need a little bit of room to build up some nostalgia. But because they keep trying to either redo it or reboot it, or just because they think it's going to make more and more money, people do, I think, get tired. And especially when it's the woke garbage that they've been spitting out for the longest time.
And when you add to that equation, you're absolutely right, all of these awful TV shows on Disney Plus, you really saturate the market with mediocrity, and people say, oh, not another one of those, please.
Yeah.
It has been a tremendous problem because when you're putting out that much content, there's no way for all of it to be, well, I can't say there's no way. It's possible it could be quality, but in the case of Marvel, it has not been quality.
And the way you keep score is different too, Ron. Because if you're keeping score with box office, however we want to define it, however we want to massage the numbers and international and whatever, that's one thing. But let's remember that all that stuff on Disney Plus is only there to maintain subscriptions. And when A, you have no way of relating one to the other, and B, they're giving them away, basically, it's hard to see what any one show, what an Ahsoka, any of them is doing or not doing for that proposition. Is it keeping people? How many people are saying, well, I'll try one more, and if it's no good, I'll drop it? Or how many people are saying, well, I'll drop it until they come up with something that looks interesting and not like all this other crap? And that's not what the whole business model of the streaming services was supposed to be.
No, they kind of kicked themselves in the foot with that. But on that note, I do want to move on to other things. Superman 2025, will it fly high or will it fail? And what will that mean for the DCEU? We're still left
Film at 11
with the question. Film at 11. At 11, we'll both be on the Pro Show, Lou.
Well, that's true. That's true.
We have the one gifted membership. Go and Shogi. Thank you for that. Putting that on the screen. That's all we have so far, but I still want to celebrate it because that's.
Oh, hey! While we're in the ellipse between stories, I was reading back in the chat. Anita asked, "Can I actually play that mandolin?" The answer is, I took lessons and I was good then, but it's been a while. So yeah, I can fake it.
There you go. Next time, bring the mandolin on the show, Lou. Okay.
I can't fake it that way.
Too much. It's a birthday.
Oh, this is just the best of my scene. All right. I'm trying to bring something up because normally I don't do stories from X, but if you guys haven't seen this, you got to see this, and we got to talk about it. I don't really want. It's kind of. I don't really want to talk about this, but if I can bring it up, I need to. What?
You're making me nervous with this prelude. I wonder what it is.
Well,
I'm scared.
Yeah, it's fair to be scared. Let me see here.
If you bring in Peepaw, I'm out.
I am not bringing up Peepaw, and as a matter of fact, I don't think I have anything about Fantastic Four at all.
Good. Neither do I, or any interest. But anyway, what's on the agenda, Ron?
Did he change his?
Who?
Drew, the Disney dude. I don't know if I don't know if this is him or not. It is. Oh, no. I think it's. Okay. Anyway, all right. Here we go. This is out of X. I'm gonna show you guys. I'll put it on the screen. Let me do this. Share this tab instead.
I'm afraid of what this is going to be.
Oh, be afraid. Be very afraid.
This isn't the new Walt animatronic,
here we go, guys.
Is it?
It is.
Oh, God.
It's a scary. You would think that they just improved the President Trump animatronic at Walt Disney World Magic Kingdom. You would think the one animatronic they could really get right would be Walt Disney. But look at this thing.
It looks like Mr. Whipple. I expect him to tell me not to squeeze the Charmin.
Mr. Whipple looks better than this guy.
Well,
first look at the Walt Disney audio animatronic figure, Walt Disney Magical Life, Disneyland. This is by Drew the Disney dude.
When Nat first seen it, she said, "Oh, it looks more like Tom Hanks than Walt Disney."
Yeah.
And
Looks like they modeled him after him playing
rictus,
Tom Hanks, being played by Tom Hanks.
No, but the grin is like The Mask, isn't it? It's like too much chin, and the cheeks never move. And
couldn't they just leave video of them and leave the man? Oh.
They should have just done it as a. I mean, I don't know. Well, first of all, they've got so much video reference. There's no excuse to have him look the way he does. I'll be honest with you. There's just way too much video reference for that.
Maybe they wanted to save money and they're using the Hillary thing that was Trump in the first incarnation.
You know, why do you say something, Lou?
What's that, Tom?
I agree, Lou. That could be, the Hillary animatronic. reskinned.
Except her shoulders are better.
Yeah, she'll like, hit you when you're not looking. Says some
He
dirt on
does
her.
he kind of has the body of Hillary, so I wouldn't be I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't put it past him, but this thing just looks awful.
Where did you
to
get
me.
this body? Abby Normal.
Emu.
He looks more like Captain Kangaroo to me than he does Walt Disney. And I wouldn't mind seeing a Captain Kangaroo animatronic because I love Captain Kangaroo. I don't know where he'd go. I don't think he was part of Disney ever, but I was a big fan back in the day. That's for
Bob
sure.
Keeshan.
I want to know what Nat and the guy think.
Well, it's interesting because in that shot that's playing right now, you can see the two fingers doing the holding the substance that he
point?
used to consume. But people Disney has tried to erase it, but they did at least do that accurately. So
You're saying they did the cigarette gesture without the cigarette, just like the airbrush version.
the two finger point,
That may be too far an in joke even for these guys, but you're right.
I had seen this earlier, and I'm really about the nostalgia of Disney. I like when they lean into the history, but I'm like, they did this thing so bad. I was like, what could have they done instead? Maybe put a hologram of Walt Disney up at the front welcoming you into the park, because this is almost disrespectful at how bad he looks.
I just wish he would say,
Yeah,
the world never had a good definition of the word animatronic. And we need one. And you might ask,
well, it wasn't
will some transatlantic giant crush Disney in a blow? No, we'll do it ourselves. Little lines from the Lincoln speech. The shoulders are so
where
weak.
is
He wore the clothes of the era, which all had padded shoulders that were 8 feet wide, for God's sakes. And he looks like he just got out of the hospital or was just about to go into it. And that smile, God, he's just...
He looks like he lost his dentures. Oh God. I'm looking forward to Dan's Life with the Kingdom. Dan is out there right now at Disneyland, and hopefully he's going to send me some pictures and shots. It's so sad because even the statue at Epcot, which is done fairly well, there's some oddities of that statue, but nobody's ever there. Nobody's ever around that statue. It's so weird.
Well, the way it's lit with that monster lighting, as we call it in the biz, where everything is from underneath. Boris Karloff as Walt Disney, but
if Bob Iger was going to make an animatronic of himself, I'm sure he would have done it properly. This is the creator of Disney. They should have done it properly.
Yeah,
I agree with you.
Definitely did Walt dirty.
But
it just doesn't make
up on
this
himself.
Almost makes you think that, like, the question is, did Bob do this to make it not look proper? Like, you have to question that when you see something like this. You have to wonder it. Native Wine says this is absolutely unconscionable. It's I didn't see. Let me look at the comments. My comment is under here. I don't know if you can see it. It says, "Oh boy, that looks a little off to me in the face. They can still tweak it, right?" And apparently they can't. I got 49 likes on that. What do they say? They give the eye an almost sinister look, and as you were taught in Animation Academy, the eyes are the most important part to complete a character. And so how much, as always, does this tell you how they feel about Walt and classic America? Mouse Secret says it kind of looks okay, a little puffy. I don't know, but to me, it's a little weird to have a Walt animatronic. I wonder how his family feels about it. I like J Drunk 3PO. That's something for sure. That's true. T. Nitton says, this looks nothing like Walt Disney. How do you go through with this project without having the face done 100% right before even starting? Absolutely embarrassing. Jesus Caballos, Cuban Superman says, holy heck, this sounds like dog heck. We won't use AI. There's a lot of other swears in that. That's so bad.
I kind of agree with him.
Yeah. Yeah,
Which animatronic did they repurpose? One from Pirates. Yeah, it's really the redhead, right?
Oh man.
Universal continues to destroy Disney. LOL. Disney animatronics are not good. Yikes. You think they would have put more effort into the animatronic of the man who created their jobs in the first place. They put more effort into Tiana, and that's saying something. Yeah, because Tiana doesn't look right either.
When this goes into what they call B mode, does he just stand there and stare with that smile on his face while the soundtrack plays?
I'm assuming
like Tiana.
I hope they don't run the show in B mode. The one from Pirates doesn't sound like him at all. I don't know where they're getting the vocals from.
Well, but see, that's I right away I said, wait, that's too. It's not, and it's mixed for the theater, not for watching on a TV screen, and that will make a difference when you hear it in there. But still, I'm willing to cut them some slack on that clip, but the rest of it, my God, there's the grin.
Yeah. Man, I don't know what to say about the Walt Disney animatronic other than I don't think it's particularly respectful to the Walt Disney family. I know they did not want this. And hey, I love the idea of there being more Walt in the park, more representation of Walt in the parks, a different type of a show. I have said myself, and I stand by this. I think it's a fantastic idea. The building that stands right now that replaced Disney Quest at Disney Springs. Have you guys, Nat and the guy, have you been to Disney World before?
No, I used to live next to Disneyland for quite a while, but I've never been to Disney World.
So
And I had that when I was little.
Yeah, I used to live like a few blocks from Disneyland. I used to see the fireworks every night.
Oh, cool. Well, land is very similar. The setup of land right now is very similar to Universal Orlando proper, where you have City Walk at Disneyland. You have Disney Downtown Disney, and then when you walk through Downtown Disney, you go to a courtyard, and on I think it's like
the Esplanade.
The Esplanade. You have Disneyland on one side, California Adventure on the other, and you can walk across between the two. That is very similar to Universal Orlando. However, Disney World much bigger. So they expanded what was the downtown Disney area to Disney Springs, and it's huge. Mm-hmm. It's this tremendous area. That's where Disney Quest was located for years, but they tore down Disney Quest. They replaced that with the NBA Experience, but that building, that was a failure. Another Bob Iger failure, not surprised. But it's a great building.
It was a failure as an attraction. If it helped them cement the contract with the NBA for ABC, it wasn't a failure. You see what I'm trying to say?
It's a failure. Yes.
Yeah.
My point is, it's a beautiful facility. The building actually is a great building, and it would be perfect to house a Walt Disney Museum, especially if they did it as a Walt Disney World Museum. This is how all of Walt Disney World was conceived. This is the history.
What are you going to sell? Walt plushies?
Here's the thing.
Walt popcorn buckets, where his head has that grin on his face, but you eat the popcorn out between his teeth.
It would feature all of the attractions from the past. In other words, you could take your family into these different rooms where, using VR technology, you could experience retired attractions. That's my greatest.
Just would rub in the fact that the new ones aren't as good. All I'm saying is there's a lot of reasons for them not to do that, and I think it's a great idea. I'd go, but I don't see they'd see the financial or thematic value in doing something like that.
They're also trying to erase their history. We can see what they're doing with their rides. So just they're going in the opposite and the wrong direction right now.
Oh my gosh, that is so true. I mean, half of, and we'll talk about this on the pro show. I won't be talking about it here because I don't want to spoil that, but the pro show, this will flow right into the pro show afterwards at 10 o'clock. And some of us we'll probably end here around 9:45 ish. But we'll be talking about how a lot of Magic Kingdom, Frontierland was basically closed today. I went earlier and I got the footage, and it's crazy. So the Liberty Bell, not there. Walls around Rivers of America. Tom Sawyer's Island is closed off. The Big Rock the Big Thunder Mountain is closed, and Tiana's Bayou Adventure. All of that was closed today. It was so you paid $184 to get into the park, and you got $150 worth of the park.
And John Candy was standing there saying, "Sorry, we're closed. The Disney animatronic out front should have told you."
Right. So yeah, that was crazy. Go and Shogi for the $5. Thank you so much, Go and Shogi. If you designed this after my grandfather, I'd apologize because clearly he must have wronged you in some way. Oh God. Yeah, that one gets to this.
Doc, calm down, okay? Just calm down. It's me. It's Marty.
No, it can't be you. I sent you back to the future.
Hey, Doc, that's right, but I came back again. I came back from the future. Don't you remember last night? You fainted. I brought you home.
This can't be happening. You can't be here. It doesn't make sense for you to be here. I refuse to even believe that you are here.
Oh, but you are. Yeah, that's how we all feel about the animatronic, I think. We can't believe that thing is actually there, and yet there it is. That's
You should be saying, "Please don't squeeze Prince Charming."
Oh my God. There's a little bit about this on that Park Place. Let me see if I can get this on the screen. Which one is it? This one. Disneyland unveils the first look at the Walt Disney animatronic figure by Marvin Montanaro, written today. Oh gosh. This is the. I'm just looking at the art. That doesn't look like the figure. That looks like Walt Disney, but that doesn't look like the figure. Oh gosh.
Isn't in that picture he's kind of slumping against the desk, but the figure's standing upright, right? Yeah, look at the difference. Go up and down from those two pictures.
Yeah,
he would have looked more like Walt in that casual pose that we always saw him in when he was introducing the show.
Yep. And I love that he's got the Epcot behind him. I guess he's got the set looks correct there.
Yeah,
but
they used to have a mock-up of that office in the lobby there in the Opera House back in the day.
I don't want to dive too much into the article. It's at Doc because we've already gone through this on X and seen what the ratio is and how bad it is. But go, to get more information on it, go to the article thatparkplace.com and check it out, guys. It's
and I'm sure we'll dive into it in depth tomorrow at 3:00 on the Park Place show after. Pro show,
yeah, exactly. We'll go into that. Making the legs bend that wasn't in the budget. That's hilarious. Oh my goodness gracious me.
All they needed was Blaine Gibson and Royal Dano to make this work, but unfortunately they're no longer with us. So for those who don't know those names, Royal Dano is the guy who did the voice of Lincoln, and you might know him as that kind of spooky preacher in The Right Stuff and in Close Encounters. And Blaine Gibson was the amazing sculptor who did all of the great stuff of not only Mr. Lincoln, but all the characters in Pirates and everything else. So where are they now? They're in that big theme park in the sky.
So this is interesting. We've got a story about Villains Land. That is something that is, of course, coming to the Walt Disney World property in the year 2047, I think. The way they're going right now, it certainly feels like that. The Magic Kingdom map reveals potential locations and access points for the new Villains Land in Walt Disney World. I find this interesting because of how much is closed right now and what I personally experienced today. So this is, of course, out of that Park Place. This is by Cham Lee. There is the artist rendition of what Villains Land might look like. There's,
or as we call it, Bloomin' Onion Land.
Bloomin' Onion, yeah. Another castle in the distance that I don't know. I don't think they're going to be able to pull any of this off very well. A new map of Magic Kingdom from Disney could reveal the potential location, borders, and entry paths to the new Villains Land coming to Walt Disney World. Disney expert WDW Pro shared his analysis on how much this image actually reveals on that Park Place YouTube channel, including what it'll take to connect the new areas and how this shows that Disney may be worried about Epic Universe's success. The new map of the Magic Kingdom shows it without the recently closed Tom Sawyer's Island and Rivers of America. Easily noticeable is a textured green immediately surrounding the Magic Kingdom's current attractions that Pro alleges shows telltale signs of Photoshop. This green replaces the closed attractions as well as extends upward above Fantasyland to the railroad tracks. It potentially reveals quite a lot about the Magic Kingdom expansion. Theorized location. So here is the map, and I don't know how well you can see that, but all of the green that is over, if you look at the left, you see an area that there's the hub down below, and then over to the left is where Rivers of America used to be, and then there's all this green above that. In a video on Park Place YouTube channel, proposes the Villains Land will likely fill in the space between the Northern Railroad tracks and the hidden access road behind the attractions of Fantasyland. So that's all the space, basically, all this green up at the top. And it's interesting because if you bring this map up right now on the app, and you zoom out far enough, the rivers are actually still there. So I found that to be very, very interesting. Pro explains the 4 potential locations that could connect to new Villains Lands and the rest of the park. We've got first, another road from Frontierland. Second is the spot between It's a Small World and the Rapunzel bathrooms in Fantasyland. Behind the wall is part of the access road that could be rethemed. Potential con-through is that this part of the access road is is longer and would require changes to existing buildings. Proceed is likely as the new map extends buildings to It's a Small World. This is different from the previous map, as the rest of the building is part of the backstage area. The third potential connection is the restrooms of Gaston's Tavern. These could easily be replaced by a bridge over the access road with some themed walls to hide the backstage areas. Guests could pass over it without noticing. With the road being lower in elevation than Fantasyland, Disney could move more easily building a bridge without revealing cast member only areas. Last, Disney could construct an access point to the Villains Land and Storybook Circus, potentially replacing the charging tent in the northeastern corner. This option is less likely for a few reasons. First, Disney would have to construct a longer bridge to cover the access road. Thus, the potential cost would be higher. And before he goes into concerns, what I want to say is that I know that area very well from having worked there. So the access road comes into right behind Be Our Guest, and where cast members enter the Magic Kingdom. You come up to that area, you actually ride in on a bus. Every cast member rides in on a bus. There's a few very upper management cast members that actually get to drive in and park anywhere around the Magic Kingdom, but the vast majority of cast members, including myself when I worked there, would park in a cast member parking lot that was way behind the Magic Kingdom, different road, and you have to allow for the time. If your shift was at 9 o'clock, you had to get there at 8:30 to park, to make sure you had time to get on the bus, to make sure you had time to get off the bus into the Magic.
It's my understanding they don't pay you for that time either.
They
It's
do
only
not
once
pay
you
you.
clock in.
That is absolutely true. Now, I will say, if I remember correctly, for my job that I had, I was allowed to clock in the first time that I saw like a clock in port. So when I went in, I would be able to clock in at there's a cafeteria under the Magic Kingdom. I would clock in there and then I would walk to my location. But that's still 15 minutes after I parked. We got to stop though, because we got an amazing super chat over here. Oh my goodness, I can't believe this. Just Nita for $1.99 to basically $200. Thank you, Justnita. That is amazing. We have to stop the show, and we get a huge celebration.
That's going to buy a lot of onions.
That's going to buy some. That's going to buy some big onions. Justnita, you get the big one. You ready? You get the let's thank you celebration. Everybody, get ready in the chat. Throw down custom emojis, dance emojis, star emojis. Let's have fun.
Too much? Too much? It's perfect! Wahoo!
Oh, this is too much. Give me a break. I couldn't be more excited. Okay, anticipation. It's making me mental. But if they say yes to be on the show, I think I would go so crazy.
Woo!
Yay! Oh, whoops! I can't see anything now. I just clicked on the wrong thing. Where'd I go?
We're all here.
We're all here. Oh, we're all here. Okay, good. Thank you, Nina. Thank you so much for that. We appreciate it. You are part of the show and part of our family here, of course, as always. So, and plus, I love playing that. That's that's a lot of fun for me. StreamYard is doing some bizarro things for me, but anyway, yes. So anyhow, all I'm going to say about the Villains Land, let me see. Okay, so I did a backstage tour of Haunted Mansion. The best part of being a cast member, hands down, when I was a cast member at Walt Disney World, the best part of being a cast member were the cast member exclusive backstage tours. I did not get to do all of them that I wanted to. There was one where you get to ride Space Mountain with the lights on, and I didn't get to do that. However, we actually did ride Haunted Mansion with the lights on. And I walked through the entire Haunted Mansion. I will never regret having worked for the Walt Disney Company for that reason and that reason alone, because it was one of the coolest things ever to get to go and walk all of the Haunted Mansion backstage. Especially that wasn't my role to do that kind of stuff. It was just fun. I would think, and there's a courtyard area that makes the most sense to me of where to enter Villains Land, and it's between the Rapunzel bathrooms and the backside of Haunted Mansion, and it would take out the area where I came into it as a cast member. I'm thinking in my head, if I look weird, I'm like my eyes are up. I'm remembering the experience of having gone. The most interesting thing about the experience, and I'll let you guys comment on this because I think it'll be fun for you, is that we asked the question because we talked about celebrities and how they go into these attractions and experiences when they have special VIP tours. And so we said, okay, which celebrities were the nastiest to deal with? And we got two answers very quickly, hands down. One was Nancy Pelosi and the other was Ariana Grande.
It's funny, you never see the two of them together at the same time. That's one of those
would you want to?
Well, it's like, remember that Monty Python thing where the Pope is mad at Michelangelo for painting the Sistine with 3 Christs, and he says, "Well, I thought the 2 fat ones balanced out the thin one." So I guess Ariana and Pelosi have that same balancing effect. But the thing about Villains Land that gets me, and it's reinforced my concern by the Onion pictures and the rest of it. Look, obviously, it's an answer or an attempt to answer Dark Universe, right? It's saying, see, we can do nasty, dark, scary stuff too. No, you can't. The best representations of Disney villains are funny. It's Captain Hook, it's Ursula, it's all of the Cruella. And what they should do is hilariously screwed up villains in a fun land, not something that looks like a horror film. But that's not what they'll do.
Yeah,
and that's the problem.
That's
the problem. Do something different. Do something unexpected. Do something fun. And the clue is, what do? They do Mickey's Not So Scary. They don't do Halloween Horror Nights, right? And it's successful. But
it's successful because of
success.
The Sanderson sisters show, and the villains that they bring out are all the villains that Disney has are there to be made fun of. That's what you do. You make fun of Disney villains, and Disney villains present themselves in a way that is to be made fun of.
Well, and not just made fun of. They have enough menace and enough challenge to the heroes that they're worth overcoming. If they were strictly comedic, the heroes would have no victory in being victorious, if you see what I mean. Yeah. It's a very fine balance. And, but what the heck? This is the company that can't replace a burned out dragon in 2 years or whatever.
This is the company that can't get their own the creator of the company looking right. Okay. Let's be honest.
I also think that with the whole creativity aspect, like, yes, clearly it's an answer and a response to Dark Universe, and it's a very clear and obvious one. But what they could have done if they wanted another land, if they wanted to respond in a different way or in a funny way or a more Disney way, they could have done Sidekick Land and just make it all about all the side characters or all the friends of, like, the Friendship Land or something that's like a response, another land, but it's not exactly the same carbon copy with characters that you can't really make into the darker versions like they have in Dark Universe, because they wouldn't attract any families over there if they made them too scary.
Yeah. It's a core creative decision that's gone wrong, as we've seen too many times.
But if they would have made it before Dark Universe was even announced, and they announced it first, then it would have made a lot more sense, and you would have said, oh, that's very creative. But since it's coming after...
But before or after, those villains never were Frankenstein or Dracula or the creature from the Black Lagoon. Never, ever, ever. So why suddenly try and make them scary now? I mean, the scariest villain in all of Disney history is really Chernobog. It's really, the climax of Fantasmic can get scary back when it worked.
Count Frollo is also scary.
But, okay. But
I find Bob Iger the scariest, but that's just me. I just think he's the worst Disney villain ever.
I think he took Miss Piggy's fountain and put it in a shower.
Okay, yeah. Oh, that's another scary thing. I'll be interested. Hollywood Studios is such a shell of itself. That is the. I know you guys may not have had the opportunity to experience Nat and the Guy, but this is what happened for me. Just like a lot of people don't know my story, but in 2015, I was working for the company, and I would work at Hollywood Studios, right? I loved Hollywood Studios. They had the Backlot tour. They had Lights, Motors, Action, which was like, I couldn't go to Hollywood Studios without watching Lights, Motors, Action. That show was phenomenal. It was fantastic.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Then they had the Streets of America, where you could pose in New York or San Francisco. They had the Great Movie Ride. It was really a park that gave you the sense of, hey, I'm learning about how the whole Hollywood thing works. You had areas where they were costuming areas. Initially, you had the animation studios there where you could actually watch animators hand drawing stuff at the time. So many cool things. And somebody decided that they wouldn't be a studios park anymore, but they keep the name studios and they erase all of that stuff. Now, here's where my mind was at the time. In 2015, I thought, well, it's Disney, so they must know what they're doing. And I know people that think the way I thought back then, and they think that way now. But because of what I've seen happen, what I saw, especially to the studios park more than any other park, and I've seen failure after failure. I saw them open Toy Story Land, and I went, "This is it." And then I saw them open Galaxy's Edge, and I went, "This is it." I had so much hope for what Galaxy's Edge was going to be, what was supposed to be, what was promised to us. And compared to what it should be, it's a letdown. That's the problem.
And just think of the basic creative decision of, the Star Wars characters that everybody loved and everybody idolizes and that made the whole thing happen. Well, let's not have them there.
Mm-hmm.
What?
No.
There seems like there's no long-term vision anymore. They're plugging holes in a sinking ship and reacting to Universal and things like this.
Mm-hmm.
And it's bizarre. Like it's so hard as somebody who grew up in the 70s. I was born a month after Walt Disney World opened. Walt Disney World has been the place that every kid wants to go to as they're growing up in the world. Everyone, please, can we go to Disney? I want to go to Disney. I think that's changing. And that is something I never thought would see change. And the magic is it's leaving the building faster than anybody can say. And
you know what? We were at the stuffed animal store yesterday looking for a present for somebody, and they like Disney a lot, so we were looking for a Mickey Mouse, and it was extremely hard to find a Mickey Mouse. And they had every other character except Mickey, and it wasn't because they were sold out. It was because they just didn't keep them in stock anymore.
Yeah.
Man.
I remember being at a press event with Michael Eisner, and he said, I've come to the conclusion, and I don't understand how this works, but those three circles, the big one and the two little ones that are Mickey's profile, are somehow psychically embedded in every baby when they're born. Because I've seen kids who've never seen the cartoon, who've never been to the park, but they just magically react to that. So their
it's like
answer
the McDonald's
is,
sign.
Don't stock it. I mean,
But I also think the company itself, and within the parks especially, but also in the movies, they're a storytelling company that forgot how to tell stories properly or how to even follow a narrative line. And within the parks, that was one of the coolest things. I went when I was little, but I could commend myself as a Disney historian because I watch so much Disney parks content because I'm really interested in how the parks have worked for the past 10 years. So I've watched a lot of walkthroughs. I could almost walk through blindfolded, and I haven't been there since I was like 6. But I think with the parks, all the details, all those small, tiny things that almost nobody would notice have been completely removed. And same as in Star Wars Land. It feels empty because they don't have those things that the only super fans would notice because none of the super fans built it.
See, exactly. and as a person who grew up literally with Disneyland, when I went to Disney World for the first time, I thought well, this is nice, the Magic Kingdom, but it's like half the stuff in 3 times as much land, especially in Tomorrowland when there was that big, huge expanse of zip. And I thought, golly, where's the intimacy? Where's the coziness? And I could show you places at Disneyland still that people walk by every day and don't realize what's going on. But next time you're at Disneyland, anybody, you go from Adventureland into Frontierland and you watch on the right side, on the building side, not the Jungle Cruise side, you watch the roof lines and you watch how they alter from being very Victorian square on the Frontierland side where the Pancake House is, and how they start to get wilder and how the colors get a little stranger with a little more purple and a little more green. It's so damn brilliant, that transition. And there are a million places like that. Mm-hmm. Go into New Orleans Square and look across the street from the Blue Bayou entrance and look at the wrought iron railings. And you will see the forced perspective happening because if you look at the corners where those brackets are, everything gets a little shorter as you go up, but you don't realize it until you really, really pay attention. And those kind of details, I'm sorry, with all due respect to the wonderful people in Florida and the people from California that supervise the building of Disney World, you don't get the same thing from Florida house painters that you get from Hollywood set painters. You just don't. And that always stood out to me, you know, and I could still enjoy it. But for me, my park was Epcot when it opened.
Oh,
Because,
yes.
my God, it was so positive about the future. Yeah, we've got problems, but we're going to overcome them. And by the way, we're going to show you some neat. I remember when they had the education center there. And when you first saw those dancing fountains at Imagination, you could go to a booth there and get brochures on how to put that in your backyard, for God's sakes.
Well, that,
You know, that was the kind of thing they were doing. Now
So-
it's
it was
like,
so
how
cool.
much artificial fruit juice and neutral grain spirits can we sell you for $22.50?
It really has become
by
a
the way, our
freaking
new
cool.
all adult bar at Spaceship Earth, you know, we're going to cut down a few trees because, hey, you don't want to look at trees. You want to look at the view of the empty plaza. So it just.
The sweetness is gone. But, you know, on that note, we have one more story I want to get to before I know some people are going to have to go real soon. The question is, I'm not really sure what kind of news this is.
I have news. What type of news is it?
Well, to be perfectly frank, it's bad.
Maybe if you tell me the bad news in a good way, it won't sound so bad.
The bad news in a good way. Yes, I can do that. Oh, well, here goes. Wait till you hear this.
Here's the bad news in a good way. The next CEO is almost definitely Josh D'Amaro.
Of course.
Even as Bob Iger faces major theme park troubles. What do you think, Lou?
Of course it's him. It has been for 6 months. Yeah. Because the only thing doing worse has been all those movie division people. And the minute that Kamala's sorority sister was out of the running, there was no value in anybody else. I just wish somebody would teach this guy how to dress like a grown-up. That's all. Every time I see him, I say he looks like he shops in the cadet section at Saks Fifth Avenue.
He dresses better than Pedro.
Well,
that's a whole other story, though, right?
Pedro walks softly and carries a rainbow-colored stick, but that's another story.
Very true.
But this guy, look, everybody seems to say he's a nice guy. I know people who've met him many times, and
I've met him.
He's a wonderful, nice guy. And the obvious question is, a lot of the things that have happened in the parks that we all hate, was it his decision, or was it, I'm not going to be like Chapek and get kicked out for ignoring Bob? So since Bob's still going to be there, will we notice some huge change? I don't think so.
Yeah, this is passing the baton, I think. This is by WDW Pro. Out of that Park Place, Walt Disney World and Disneyland resorts have seldom been in a worse position than they currently might be. Disney World attendance is dropping. Upcoming expansions are unpopular. Disneyland likewise is struggling to find guests in ways we haven't seen since the pandemic hit. The man overseeing major headwinds self-generated at the parks is also now almost assuredly going to be the future CEO of the Walt Disney Company. His name, Josh D'Amaro, not Tom Morrow, not paging Mr. Morrow, but Josh D'Amaro. Disney Experiences chairman Josh D'Amaro made a high-profile showing this week at the exclusive 2025 Allen & Company Sun Valley Media and Technology Conference, walking the carpet alongside CEO Bob Iger, a symbolic move that has fueled speculation that D'Amaro is being groomed as Disney's next CEO. And if there's one thing Disney knows how to do, grooming the next CEO. Known for its intimate summer camp for billionaires, Sun Valley this year also featured key succession figures like Dana Walden and Alan Bergman, underscoring the gravity of the executive lineup present. But D'Amaro's visibility alongside Iger further cements his status as leading successor candidate. Boardwalk Times out of X says, there it is, Disney Experiences chairman Josh D'Amaro, Disney CEO Bob Iger, and former Disney CEO Michael Eisner at the Allen & Company Sun Valley Media and Technology Conference. And look, he's in a black t-shirt and jeans. There. So there you go, Lou. He's got something off
Yeah,
the
but
rack.
that's that summer camp for zillionaire boys. So look, this is a done deal. And it's only a question of making Wall Street really happy about it. And frankly, Wall Street's happy about, hey, you mean we're going to get paid and they're going to build it in Abu Dhabi, Dubai, wherever it is? That's a good deal. And hey, they just expanded Fantasy Springs in Japan, and they paid for it, and we get paid. This is going to become. It's becoming an IP licensing company, and that's wrong. But that's what brings them cash when they need it, because they blow it on bad movies. My big question is, once he's really the boss, sometime 5 or 10 years from now, when Iger gives up the ghost, do those people running the studio have a job? I don't think so. They wouldn't in any rational administration now. They would say, sorry, guys, you screwed the pooch too many different times. We got to get some new blood in here.
Well, if they want real change, I hope Nelson Peltz tries to take another run at it, because
he's sick of the whole thing. He's not coming back.
As anybody would be.
He's only worth more than 10 gods in money, and he doesn't need the aggravation. He offered him a way out. Like I said, had he been successful in just getting a board seat, the most important thing this company hasn't got is somebody to say, well, wait a minute, what if you're wrong about any decision anywhere? Nobody says that. Nobody dares say that. Nobody thinks that. And that's bad management. I don't care if it's Disney or the local 7-Eleven. Yeah. Somebody's got to be there to say, well, wait a minute. Why are we? I mean, little things. But the decision has to be questioned. The decision has to be, well, let's try it that way, but give ourselves this amount of time, and if it doesn't work, we'll do something alternative. But they don't do that. They don't do that.
Taking a different stance, whether whoever wants to answer this, Tom or Nat the guy, LW, is there any chance whatsoever that Josh tomorrow becomes CEO and has been, I don't know, keeping ideas from Bob and actually infects any kind of positive change?
No.
And if he does well, he's going to make Bob look bad, and Bob doesn't want that. So in Bob's best interest, he probably wants him to not do extremely well.
Well, he wants him to do as well as he can, following in the same quote-unquote tradition. He wants to see, that's my guy. I groomed him. I built him. I made him what he is today.
Until Bob's taking a dirt nap, nothing's going to change.
Yeah. Well, even then. All these people who, what if Apple bought it? What if this person? What if that person? I keep saying this, but I'm going to say it again. If you think a new broom could come in there and sweep clean, not just the KKs, not just the top people, but all of their people who've been seeded into this company, whether it's Imagineering or the movie studios or Pixar or wherever, if you fired all of those people, which would be thousands of people if you really got down into it,
jeez.
You know the first thing they would say? What the hell are you firing me for? I'm going to sue you. All I was doing was just following orders.
just following orders.
That's all they were doing, was doing what they were told to do. And so how can you fault them? So
I say raise it to the ground and start over.
Yeah, well.
I'm glad they didn't hire Kathleen Kennedy.
Don't jinx us.
She's looking for some kind of hit or award to go out on. That's all. She's tired of this stuff too. I mean, she'll go down in history as the person who brought us Leslie Headland, right?
So, good Lord.
Anyway,
I think
this guy's going to be the boss to the degree that Bob, as the ghost boss, lets him. Which is, Bob is never going to make the mistake he made with Chapek, which is actually to hire somebody who has a brain in his head.
Yeah.
I don't doubt that tomorrow, having been inside this for a long time, I bet he does see. He's not a dummy. He sees the problems. And I predict the problems are about to get enormously worse, and here's why. Without the attendance and with the competition of Universal, suddenly, for one thing, DVC has a problem. If the whole purpose was, well, hey, you come every year, you might as well get an apartment with a kitchen with a and own something, even though, yeah, we can raise the rates however much we want on the maintenance fees, and even though, yeah, reselling has to go through us, and even all, but never mind that, it's just a timeshare. Well, if I'm not going every year anymore, because it's not worth going every year, if I'm going every 2 years or every 5 years, or maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm not going to go, suddenly that sales motivation disappears. Same thing, and it'll take longer when you get to the cruise ships, because the other companies are not letting the grass grow under their feet. And they're saying, well, all right, they've got those great kid clubs, but they're also the company that thinks kids should be seduced. So do you really want to put your kids on that boat at the enormous price they charge? Would you like to try something new? Yeah, they've got Castaway Cay. Well, we've got whatever Carnival calls theirs or whatever. And I'm just saying there is a ripple effect that is going to go through this company over the next 5 years that is not caused by Universal, but is prompted by Universal and the fact that they haven't responded to it. And as I've said before, for the average Disney holic, for the average person who went to Disney every year, Epic isn't the only thing new. They've never been to Islands or to the studios or to Volcano Bay either, because they used to get on the bus at the airport and get taken right to Disney World, and they stayed there for 4 or 5 days, were happy, went home, and, oh, Universal, yeah, but that's something else.
Well,
But
and I've
now,
always said,
Lou, you also got people that are still under the delusion that Disney is still great. That it used to.
yeah, but
and
they're
great
diminishing.
for them.
And I've talked to a lot of them, and they keep poo-pooing, oh, Universal's still in its shadow, and they refuse to see everything falling down.
Universal, until they go next time, and they get charged twice as much for less stuff.
But
sooner or later,
here's the thing. The footprint of Universal, a lot of people don't realize this, and I've said it before. You've got now 3 major parks, and if you add SeaWorld into that mix, you now have it with Universal and SeaWorld together. You have the Disney Vacation. You have 4 major theme parks, one of which is animal-based. There are 2 water parks, and all within the same geographic location. It's not all owned by Universal.
And SeaWorld
like
has the
Disney
Muppets, don't they?
SeaWorld has
Sesame Street.
Sesame Street.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like if you want to tell, if like I can tell you how to get to Sesame Street, go to SeaWorld.
There you go.
And they now have Soarin' over the Arctic, which if you guys haven't seen my latest vlog, go check that out.
Yeah, I did. It looks great.
Penguins are fun. Just saying.
What's that?
Penguins are fun.
Penguins are a blast, and it's a lot of fun. So SeaWorld's got that going on. But what we got going on is we're about to go over to the pro show, and I know that we have some people that got to take off. Nat and the guy, tell us about yourself, your channel, and where people can find you on the internet.
Well, yeah, we got 2 channels, one in English, one in Spanish. It's Nat and the Guy Espanol or Nat and the Guy English. Our Spanish channel's fairly big, or it's growing. Our English channel is really small, so we're trying to get people to subscribe to our English channel. Monday through Friday, we have live shows in the morning, and Monday through Friday, we have a live political show at night. The morning show is a pop culture show.
And here are the link to that. Go and Shogi's got that in the chat. Thank you so much, Go and Shogi. And we will link you in the description after the show is over so that people can easily find you. Thank you guys so much for being here, both of you. A la orden. I don't. Yeah, my wife taught me to say a la orden and not de nada. So I have heard that that's the more proper way to
believe me, you know way more Spanish than he does. So
she's the Spanish speaker. I just live here.
Do a lot of people in Mexico City speak English, or
no? I was surprised. Like, I had been to tourist areas in Mexico. Everybody in the tourist areas speaks. Mexico City, not so much. But I know how to communicate without words. I got a phone, stuff like that.
And he has to learn.
The translation apps always help. Lou, I know you have to leave us because you're going to the same place I'm going.
Yes,
and
un Angeleno native, so I speak enough of it to get by. But then
so
I speak
was he, but
other language. So yeah, I'm second generation LA, which is very rare. We used to say in LA, when you got to something like Thanksgiving, the town cleared out. You could shoot off a cannon and not hit anybody because everybody went home to mama somewhere else. But Anyway, where am I? Golly, I'm with you again momentarily. And then tomorrow at 3 on the T3PO show after the pro show. And then every Sunday at 2 o'clock, Vash and I do the back lot with Lou and you, and we talk about the movie biz. And so those are the main ones. And then whatever, as the heart may prompt and as the body may catch up, I'm around. So you can find me. Wherever there is danger, you will find me. Wherever there is trouble, I'll be there. A plethora of places. That's where I'll be. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, baby.
I wanted to say hi to them.
Just come in. Just come in.
Hey, there she is.
Hello, everybody. How are you?
Hey.
Hola, Virginia.
I'm so glad everybody's here tonight. And I did subscribe to your channel, to Nat. What is the name?
Nat and the guy.
Nat and the guy.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad to see everybody here. Tom and Louis and you guys and everybody in the channel.
Good to see you.
Gracias.
Bye.
And the Bradley's fun would not be as much fun without you, Virginia. So there you go. It may look like it's only Ron most of the time, but no.
If I didn't have her, I wouldn't have. Yeah, I wouldn't have nothing. Yeah, it's all about Nat and the guy. No, you know how it is. You can't. I mean, we're being a guy. I'm completely lost without my wife.
She's the brains of the operation as well.
Yeah. My wife is the brains, the brawn, the everything. So,
and one hell of a little dancer. No, I don't know. I'm just.
If I don't know if she's anywhere where she can still see this, but maybe everyone's saying hi to you in the stream over here. There
she's laughing at it, so she knows I'm kidding. Anyway. But what about Tom? Tom is everywhere too.
TomTheBomb.com is the massive. He's the major wrench.
Got that.
Where are you? Let's see. Tom.
Swinging a wrench.
There you go.
Swinging a wrench. So
I wrenched my back once, but that's about as wrenchy.
Well,
as
you want to use this? So. It kind of helps. It works really good to
Well, actually, it's funny when we're talking bilingual here. John Lennon did a joke. There's an expression when we call it about a wrench in the works. The British call it a spanner in the works. And John Lennon wrote a book called A Spaniard in the Works. So there you go. Curious trivia number 403B from yours truly. Anyway, rocket launches.
Yeah.
Oh.
Tom is the rocket man. He's a rocket man.
Hey, I just happened to rewatch after many, many years The Right Stuff today. And it's still got the right stuff, man. That movie, when people said, oh, there's nothing to go to the movie theaters to watch. Yeah, there is. It's at home on your television set. So pick out some good ones.
If you come over to the Space Coast, I recommend going to the Space Center and doing the park there and doing the tour.
Yeah.
I have a NASA vlog on my
do that
channel as well. And we'll be talking more about
I'll see if I could pull some strings.
Cool. Yes, indeed. Guys, thank you, everybody, for being here. I want to also thank you, guys, Go and Shogi, for the 5 gifted memberships. We appreciate that. I did not see who those went to, but I will check later. Go and Shogi, also with a $5 super chat. If you designed this after my grandfather, I'd apologize because clearly he must. That's about the. Oh, gosh, that's so funny. And. Yeah. With the amazing support from Nita, $199.99. Thank you so much. Just Nita, I'm going to play something just for you because I know you like him.
Okay. I'm going to use the bathroom.
We're back. We're here.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
You know.
All right. So I don't know what happened to my camera.
Camera.
yeah, there's something just flashed in my settings, but I am still here, and you guys will see me on the other side over at over at the WDW Pro Show. Thank you, Lou, for being here. Thank you, Nat and the guy, and thank you, Tom, and thank you for all of the wonderful support tonight, everybody out there in the chat. My beautiful wife. Yes. So we're going to go from this. We're going to stream right over to the WDW Pro Show, and as you can see, I am getting ready for the WDW Pro Show by masking my identity as Pro does.
I'm out. See you later on.
That's what it is. Guys, thank you so much for being here tonight. I appreciate all you, love all of you, and go over to Pro, say hi to me there. Until next time, we'll see you real soon. I do, by the way, I do plan on doing this every Monday night and possibly look forward to spring up on Wednesday nights as well. Thank you so much. Thank you, Tom. And chat, we'll see you real soon. Bye, everybody. Ciao.
Bye-bye.